You hear about wireless this and wireless that, but do we really understand what wireless means? Here is a short video that describes how the wireless local area network found in most homes today operates. We will briefly discuss the equipment, the different modes of operation, and network security. Here is a friend to help explain the process.
Hi there. Well, we'll start with the equipment needed. And we know that most homes have a way of getting a signal, internet signal in. It's either through a cable or a phone, and it goes to a device that we call a modem. Now, a lot of these modems are a combination of modem and wireless router. And so at some point, there is a little antenna, and there's some signal radiating, and so whatever comes through your internet goes here and radiates out. Over here, you have your little laptop computer or desktop, either one, and it has a built-in radio, and that's how the two communicate. So the equipment is very simple. We just simply need a way to get the signal in, either through your cable provider or your phone company, and a modem with what we call a wireless router that allows us to communicate with our computer, and most computers have a built-in wireless card for laptops, and desktops have a similar device. Now, the basic modes of operation is kind of interesting because when you see these things, you see letters of B, G, A, and sometimes you see N. And they're usually looking like 802.11.11b or something like that. What does that mean? Basically, these are different frequency ranges and different modulations of how the information is getting broadcast through the air. For example, B refers to a 2.4 gigahertz signal at an 11 megabit per second rate. G is a 2.4 gigahertz signal at a 54 megabits per second rate. A is a 5 gigahertz signal at a 54 megabit per second rate. Then N is actually a combination of B, G, and A all combined in one. Now, what is the advantages of this? If you can go to a higher frequency, then it's equivalent to, in plumbing, you've got a larger diameter pipe. So you can carry more users, more content at the high rate of speed. Now the problem is it's 5 gigahertz, you don't have as much range, so depending where you walk around with your computer, you may lose signal. G has the same data rate, but it's at half the frequency, so consider the pipe is half as big. So if the number of users allowed to keep the same data rate is half, or the amount of information, it's quicker to overload a G than it is an A, although G is quite good. And then we have B at the same frequency, and you're wondering why, and at a slower data rate. Well, this is a simpler modulation scheme and allows for the greatest range. And with these modems, behind the scenes, it's automatic that it scans and it tries to find, if you have an N system, then it's going to try and find and see if they can get A to work first for you. And if it can't, then it drops to G. And if it can't, then it drops to B. So that's why sometimes when you walk around, you may find that things come slower or faster, depending where you are in your house and time of day and numbers of users, because it also relates to the fact that you still have this line that goes out to the world, to the internet, via your cable or your phone line that goes on the trunk. And so if it's at nighttime with a lot of users, it's still going to be heavily loaded. So that's the basic operation of how, when you see all those letters, that's kind of what it means. Now, the last thing that we want to kind of go over is the security. And it can be a little confusing, and it's very difficult at times to understand. But when you get these basic systems, a Linksys or something like that, you get your Linksys router, and you get the software, and you go load it all up, and you get your computer talking to your router, and it's pretty straightforward. The default is a non-secure open line. Now, that makes it easy to hook up, but it also makes it easy for everybody else that just happens to be within range of your network to log on to your system. Now, at the most benign level, it just means you may slow down because you've got users you don't realize using your network, and so slowing you down. A more nefarious problem is the fact that you've got people running eavesdropping software out there and just trying to pick up any information they can that could relate to passwords, either through email or banking or whatever. So the best thing you can do, even though it's a little bit of a hassle, is to actually follow the steps that are provided on the link list, and there is an encryption code that they want you to put in. So what you want to do is you want to go through those steps, use your encryption code, and you have to install that code on every computer on your network that's going to use the network. And if someone happens to come over and just pop open their laptop, you'll have to decide, you know, do you want to give them the code or not, because they won't be able to use your network unless they do. So, in the short run, these are really great things to have. They make life really, really simple. They have a nice little modem, have your computer here, and your child's computer over here. And if it's secure, then your neighbor's computer over here, he may be able to see that you have a network, but he can't do anything with it. So that's the basics of the equipment needed, the modes of operation, and a little bit about security that you should be aware of.